Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Again, my name is Michael Graham. I'm a board member with the National Transportation Safety Board. Again, with me is our investigator in charge, Dan Baker. Today I'll be providing you an investigative update into the fatal crash of the Cessna Citation 550 that crashed on Thursday morning at approximately 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at Statesville Regional Airport in Statesville, North Carolina. Again, before I go any farther, on behalf of the NTSB, again, I want to extend our most sincere condolences to the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives in this terrible tragedy. Our representative with the National Transportation Safety Board's Transportation Disaster Assistance Division is continuing to work with the family members and loved ones of those who lost their lives in this accident. And I want to thank the family members who have been assisting our team with the investigation during this terrible time. As a reminder, we are here to gather perishable evidence. The analysis portion begins after we gather all that evidence, and we will methodically and systematically review all the evidence and consider that those will be considered potential factors to determine the probable cause of this accident. Once again, the information I provide you today is preliminary and is subject to change during the course of the investigation. I do want to clarify a couple things that we said yesterday. First, I want to clarify that the accident aircraft departed from runway 10 at Statesville Regional Airport and attempted to land on runway 28 after approximately being airborne for 10 minutes. We do not know the circumstances which led the aircraft, which was a Part 91 general aviation flight, to attempt to return to the airport, but that is the focus of our investigation. I also want to clarify a question I received yesterday about a potential text from a passenger on board the aircraft. This morning, I can confirm that the NTSB is aware of one brief text from a passenger on board the aircraft to a family member that read, and I quote, "emergency landing." Again, that's emergency landing. We are not aware of any other communications from passengers on board the aircraft to those on the ground. We are still gathering information related to the pilots on board the aircraft, and I do not have any additional information to relay on who was in the left seat at this time. We do anticipate that more information on all the pilot-rated occupants will be included in our preliminary report. I can also confirm this morning that we have taken down several witness statements. We are still analyzing and validating much of the information contained in these statements. Early indications from multiple sources indicate that the airplane was stable on approach, configured for landing with the landing lights on, but the aircraft was coming in low. That information is consistent with the debris field our team continues to survey and consistent with the first points of impact on the airport runway lighting stanchion located approximately 1,800 feet from the runway threshold. I want to provide some information on our team's activities from yesterday and what they are doing on scene today as I speak. Yesterday, our systems group documented the accident debris field, aircraft wreckage positioning, component locations, and the flight controls. Additionally, I mentioned yesterday the team recovered the cockpit voice recorder, which is now at our headquarters in Washington, D.C. Our team today is attempting to extract that information. And I will note again that this aircraft was not required to have a CVR because it was under a Part 91 flight, but it did. The team also recovered additional avionics equipment, one being the ground proximity warning system, a Garmin G750 display, which is also known as a multifunction display, and various cockpit instruments. We also have retained for examination the caution and warning panel from the instrument panel. All of these are being sent to NTSB Recorder's Lab in Washington, D.C., and we will determine whether data and relevant information can be recovered from these units. Again, our recorder labs have specialists that can download data from this equipment even when it's been damaged, and we specialize in this. And much of this data is very helpful to the investigators for determining the probable cause. Our operations group conducted witness and maintenance personnel interviews yesterday and viewed additional accident and security videos yesterday. I can say, as of just a few minutes ago, we do have the maintenance logs for the aircraft in our possession now. They will also try to determine the weight and balance of the aircraft and verify the aircraft loading. Our power plants group was able to examine both engines yesterday, and today the group will relocate the engines for further examination. Our drone team did get airborne yesterday, but the wind was a little too strong to do what we needed to. We did get some video footage, but we have been able to document the accident scene now as of just a few minutes ago. Additionally, the wreckage recovery and removal from the aircraft will begin today, or from the airport, and we anticipate releasing the scene to the local authorities within 1 to 2 days. I want to thank the many people who have reached out to us with videos, witness statements, other information that has been helpful for our investigation. And again, I would like to ask anybody who may have additional photos, videos, any kind of documentation, or maybe have witnessed the accident, if you would reach out to us via email at witness@ntsb.gov. Again, that's witness@ntsb.gov. Finally, I want to note that today will be our last on-scene press briefing here in North Carolina. However, I want to be clear that we're not finished gathering evidence at this time, and the investigation will continue to gather evidence. Our team will remain on the ground here in Statesville as long as necessary to gather what they need for the investigation. Additional information about the status of the investigation will come out of our NTSB headquarters in Washington, D.C., and you can follow the NTSB on X at NTSB_newsroom, or on our website at ntsb.gov for any additional information on this accident. As a reminder, the preliminary report will be out within 30 days. However, the final report will be out in 12 to 18 months. We will have on-scene photos and video available on our website shortly for you all to use. I will take a couple questions here. A reminder, raise your hand when I call on you. Please state your name and affiliation.
Glenn Counts with WSOC in Charlotte. Outside of the aircraft being low, have you talked to any witnesses, or have you seen any video that would indicate that the aircraft was in any kind of distress coming in?
So the question is, Do we have, from the witnesses and any video, to verify what the witnesses said about the aircraft being low, or any indications that something may have been wrong with the aircraft? At this point, we have seen some of the videos. We have talked to various witnesses, some of them that are pilots and things like that. We don't have any information to determine if there's something, what emergency might be going on in the aircraft. It did look like the aircraft was configured appropriately for landing, but it was low in the videos also. Well, we have no other indications of what might have been going on at this time.
Joe Marusak, Charlotte Observer. I just thought if I could ask two questions, but how low was it? And then also, who was the family member and who did they text?
Okay. First, let me go with the first question. How low was the aircraft? Well, the aircraft was lower than a normal glide slope for the airport, and the fact that it contacted the approach lighting stanchion it tells you that it was basically level or below the runway level at that point, because the runway is up on a hill a little bit. But that's part of where we'll determine exactly where it is. The other question you had was who was the family member that provided us with the text? We're not going to share that at this time. We need to be mindful of what the family's going through right now, and we appreciate them sharing that to us at this point.
Is it unusual, what is the challenge of trying to figure out who the pilot was in this case, and who was sitting in that left seat?
The question is, what is the challenge of determining who the pilot was and who was sitting in that left seat? At this point, we have a lot of really good information, and we're fairly confident with at least the left seat occupant, but we need to verify that, right? We need to be accurate in what we do. And we also, from a survival factors point of view, which is part of what we investigate, we want to know where everybody was sitting. And that's a little more difficult in a crash like this. You had a question here.
Yes, Peter Scott at TSA Sports. Is it abnormal for there to be a tree line that close to the runway's start?
Okay. The question is it abnormal to have a tree line that close to the runway? I did briefly talk about this yesterday. The airport does sit up on top of the hill, and the approach lighting is either level with the runway or sometimes it's above, but it looks pretty level with the runway elevation. It may even dip down a little bit, and there's some trees down in between some of these. So the aircraft was well below the runway surface when it crashed. One more over here.
Given the weather conditions at the time, did those conditions make it so that the ground proximity warning device was going to be especially critical in a situation like this?
Oh, so the question is whether the weather was significant enough to have to rely on the ground proximity warning system. At this point, I don't have any information on that. We have looked at some of the weathers of the video, and the reported weather out of the weather reporting station was 1,200 broken, 5 statute mile visibility, which is visual flight rules. So yeah, it did have some heavy drizzle out there. That's part of what we'll investigate at this point. But I have no further comment on that as far as how it relates to the accident. Okay, thank you very much.